Right on. Welcome back. We are in week 7, episode 1.7 of the Fantasy Fling podcast. Fantasy Fling, fantasy football without the commitment. We're going to jump right into the hot plays in week 6. Of course, we have my co-host Eric. We also brought Polish Paul back. He just loves hopping on with us. We'll give you those hot plays in week 6.
Having you guys have me on every week.
Yeah, buddy. I'm sure you'll help us with some of the walk of shame plays as well.
My team was a walk of shame.
Yeah.
Got a W, but the scoring was a walk of shame.
I don't want to hear about it.
Wasn't shameful on my team was Henry saving it.
So we'll do that. Eric, he probably has the most shameful things to share, both from the league and the party, his birthday party. Happy birthday, Eric.
Thank you.
And also, we will finish by, of course, breaking down what we think will be the hot plays of week 7. And as always, we do give you access to those hot DFS deals. So we will do that as well. First, let's start with the top hot plays of week 6. I'll break it down. Number 1, we have the quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson coming in at the top. You know, it was the second week without Bill O'Brien. We knew he was going to go off again this week. You know, he seems to have found his groove. He played really well. They took Tennessee all the way to the brink. Was really happy having him in my DFS lineups. Side note, though, I was quite sad. I did a 3-team parlay with the Broncos and the Texans being one of those teams. Also the Steelers. Texans, gosh, all they had to do was lose by 3. And they ended up losing by a touchdown. So it didn't work so well for me.
Did you see how disappointed Watson was at the overtime coin flip? Soon as that landed and he was giving Tennessee the ball, he's like, man, King Henry's got this. I'm gonna meet you guys. I'm gonna pull LeBron. I'll be in the locker room.
Yeah.
Not getting on the field.
Defense can't stop a nosebleed. He knew what was up.
Nope.
Same thing with Matt Ryan. We talked about it last week. You know, they fired their coach. He was out. We knew they were going to play well. They did. He came in at number 2 at 31 points. On the other side of that Houston-Tennessee game, we had Ryan Tannehill. I mean, this guy just keeps playing well, man. I don't really think anyone saw it going this well in Tennessee when he signed there. When he played with the Dolphins, like early on, he had flashes that he was going to be a franchise guy. But, you know, when he went to Tennessee, it was to be a backup to Mariota, and he took over, and he certainly ran with his opportunity. Number 4, Carson Wentz, 29.4 in the garbage NFC East. It's going to be another shitty year for that division. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be the Eagles. Maybe it's going to be the Giants.
Get into the playoffs with. We're about to find out.
I think 7 and 9. Whoever wins the division at the worst record, I think 7 and 9 is the worst that's ever made it, though.
They got to change that, right? Like, at some point, like, if your division is absolutely horrible, another team should get the nod. You know,
it's garbage.
Like, I feel like if you're under 500, like, no, sorry, being a division winner doesn't mean anything. But moving on, number 5, Lamar Jackson at 28.2. I was happy to trade for him last week and reap the rewards. Week 1 with him on my team, it was good. Eric, moving on.
Yeah, man. Running backs, King Henry, 40-plus points. So that's what Paul was talking about, who saved his week. Otherwise, a shitty week saved him for that. Surprisingly, DeAndre Swift. I mean, they talk about rookies coming out of the buys. He did share carries with Adrian Peterson, but carry-on was distant memory, so it was almost a 50-50 split, but Swift was obviously better.
See Adrian Peterson doing good. That means there's a kid at home who's not going to get his ass beat that night, so that's a plus.
No. No getting hit with a stick. Anyway, moving on.
Adrian Petro.
So we had two guys who were listed who were not on the main slate. Were Ronald Jones at 26 and CEH at 20.9. Those guys weren't on the main slate, but they both tore it up. If you disclude those, then Connor was 3 at 17 points. Surprisingly, Myles Gaskin, which maybe isn't a surprise because he played the Jets.
Wait, how's Ronald Jones on the main slate?
Where didn't they play the Sunday night game against the Packers?
I thought that was the Rams played Sunday night game. No.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. Don't mind me. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
Yeah.
So yeah. And anyway, then Gaskin makes the list if you remove CEH.
But yeah, you're right.
That was my fault on that one.
CEH.
But
It's
yeah,
all good.
Taylor, he rounded out the last one.
Like I do for our drafts.
Oh man, well, all these games being shifted and rearranged and moved. Sometimes you lose track.
It's confusing. We don't know what's going on anymore.
Oh man, and then if you want to add to the list, it shows how bad of a week it was kind of for running backs. Was Taylor had 15.5 points, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to receivers, kind of the surprise of the week, even though the guy's a stud. I don't think anybody expected basically 40 points from Justin Jefferson. That was a lot of it was all garbage time. I'll admit he had one touchdown early on. The rest was all garbage, but hey, we'll take garbage in fantasy football.
But they're definitely garbage points.
Yeah.
The Hall of Famers in this wide receiver class, I feel like are just going to be off the charts. You look at the first round guys like Judy, CeeDee Lamb, Ruggs. These are some of the main guys that people are talking about, but then you got like Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Claypool, like these guys just coming out of nowhere. I mean, to be honest, like Justin Jefferson was up there. He was, kind of like the 1B after these guys. But still, I think when it's all said and done, this class is going to be amazing.
Oh, man. I agree. They was talk about that coming in, too, about what the class would be like. They weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. Travis Fulgham was rounded up at 33 points. I don't know. Like they again, another year of the Eagles. Like who are they going to throw the ball to? Everyone's hurt.
Right.
Now Zach Ertz. Both tight ends are gone. All the receivers are gone.
Well, Jackson is back in this week. I mean that's good. Jeffrey won't probably be until next week.
Surprise, surprise.
Didn't
see that one coming
back, but we'll see.
Well, the story about all that for me, though, is like Carson Wentz kind of gets a bad rap. If you look at like the box scores and everything, you look how he's played. Yeah, he's not playing well, but if you take any quarterback and take away all of his weapons, most of them won't do very well. Poor guy. Like it seems like 3 years straight. No one can stay healthy. I don't understand what the hell they're putting in the water over there, but yeah. Anyway, Will Fuller, 24 points. I mean, he surprised me. He had one bad game, and then the rest have been pretty good. I've really been surprised. And his buddy Brandon Cooks was also on the list again. Good game for him as well. A.J. Brown, which we talked about last week, was only – I thought I was dyslexic. I said 56, and he was 56. We thought 65. He was ended up being 56.
You're right. That was my mistake.
No, you're good. But I
was dyslexic.
Oh, man, it was just – what a deal. 5,600. I mean, the guy scored 22.5 points. Come on.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk, he was on the late slate, but I think beyond Christian Kirk, I think Keelan Cole, actually, if you remove the guys that are on the main slate, he had 20.3 points, surprisingly.
Yeah.
That rounds out the receivers. Then we go to the shit show they call tight end. No pun intended. It was Anthony Ferkser. Once or twice a year, he'll step up. Jonnu Smith got hurt. Ferkser stepped up and yearly scoring. I wouldn't pick him up on the waivers. Don't waste your fab. Trey Burton.
Yeah.
Guy was supposed to be a stud. He signed a big deal a couple of years ago. He looked pretty good this game, but I'm not sure I trust it. I mean, Jack Doyle had a pretty good game.
It's Rivers. He loves throwing to tight ends. Kind of almost wasn't a surprise. Whoever they're going to keep healthy at that position, I think is good in it.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, possibly.
At this point with some of these tight ends, it's almost like the fantasy gods are playing duck, duck, goose.
Yeah.
With the tight ends, like
some roulette.
Who's it going to be? Surprise, surprise. Duck, duck, goose.
I mean, and then you have some guys who show up on the list like Travis Kelce. I mean, the guy's a stud. What can you say? Darren Fells, he was surprised to some, but not to others. When Akins went out, everyone's like, okay, put him in your lineup. He's getting all the looks. If Akins is out again, Fells is a good play. Rounding out the list is Gronk. Tell you what, man, 4 out of 5 games, he's had 20-plus target share count. I think Gronk is actually kind of on the up, especially since O.J. Howard went with his Achilles. He's looked I can't say he's looked great, but he's getting opportunities. So, that's out the list. And then
he's getting used again.
Yeah, he is, man. I mean, Brady has rapport with him. I mean, he's definitely not the Gronk of, times past where he's the number one guy, but he's usable in the show they call tight end landscape.
Absolutely. Well, defense, I'll run through it. I started the Bucks this week in our league. That was not by plan. I just forgot they're my defense.
I saw that. I was wondering. I was like, did he mention?
Yeah.
I thought the same thing, man. I was
Yeah.
like, man, they're gonna get torched by Rodgers.
Yeah.
No, man, they're for real. Like, we keep ignoring them, but
no, yeah, they're not messing around. They're gonna be here. So the Steelers, going against Cleveland. Cleveland's gonna Cleveland. I mean, it's easy to beat up on the shitty teams, but when the 4-0 Steelers coming to town, it's a little different.
Yeah.
They got their asses handed to them. The Cardinals, that's a mess up. They weren't on the main slate, but it's fine. 15 points. So we actually had the Dolphins as well. Great game. Not good enough for Fitzpatrick, apparently, because he gets benched after he leads his team to victory.
What?
And Tua comes in at garbage time. So Fitzmagic to Fitztragic without even playing tragically. I don't know.
How do you do that to the man? I know. I honestly don't get it, but it's like
here's the thing.
Looking to chase the AFC. What's going on here?
Here's the thing. We've seen this in Denver many times. Quarterback controversies. We had it in Denver with Jake Plummer and Jay Cutler. This can go if Tua doesn't come out and play very well. This can go very bad. They can divide the team. You can lose the locker room. Like, they should probably just trade Fitz at this point. But we'll see how it all plays out. Anyways, the Giants, 14 points. They've actually, I was looking at the second week in a row, they've been top 5.
They have a good defense. They're surprisingly good defense. Their offense isn't very good, but defense is good. Yeah.
And then our Broncos tied with them at 14. We mentioned it last week. Vaughn owns Cam, but apparently it's not just a Vaughn thing. The Broncos just have Cam Newton's number. They're 4-0 against him. Every time the Broncos play Cam, it's not going to go well for Cam. So Broncos.
Cam myself. Pretty much almost got burned by him until garbage time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But so as far as the hot plays for me, it's not a long list, I would say. But, I talked about it a little bit. Watson, I had him at 35 points. I did play Julio Jones in a lineup or two. I was a little worried about the hammy. That was the only pause. I should have played him a lot more. But I played him in a couple lineups, got 36 points from him. Justin Jefferson, 42 points. I like Thielen and Jefferson. So Thielen, didn't really come through. But Jefferson really did at 42 points. A.J. Brown, 6,500, 5,600, whatever. I've been high on A.J. Brown, all year since last year. He almost won me a title last year. So really thought he would take a big step this year as well. And he was hurt early, but he's been doing really well. Galladay, I got 17 points out of him. Dolphins D, 15 points. It's one of those things where start a defense against the Jets. I'm just sad, that I can't do it this week. But 15 points, I'll take that from the Dolphins D. As far as price picks as well, we talked about the player prop game. I did a 4-pick entry that worked out really well for me. James Robinson, Galladay, Thielen, and Madison. So James Robinson over-under was 18. I got that right as I had the under. He ended up finishing with 15. Galladay's over was 17. I got that right as I had the under, where he hit at 14.5. Thielen was where I missed. I really thought he was like the number one wide receiver play for the week. The matchup was really well. I had his over of 20. He finished with 14, so at least he salvaged as far as your DFS lineups go. DraftKings, at least he's able to salvage some points because it was really bleak for a while. Last, Madison's over-under was 19.5. I picked the under, so I guess I was right, but I actually thought it would be close, and he was way under at only 4 points. I wouldn't say it was all his fault, and you got Cousins throwing 3 picks. It's kind of hard to move the ball. But regardless, with this, I won 3 out of 4 picks, which is good. That's all you have to do to hit on those is hit 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 pays out 1.5 your entry, and 4 pays out 5 times your entry. You also have the option to parlay this, and you can 10x your entry. So, what I'll say, the best part about playing player props with prize picks is, let's be real. We all play DFS to win money. That's the idea. You see these like $1 million tournaments, they draw you in. But how often do you actually win money in those big tournaments? There's sharks and there's multi-entry lineups. So the thing about player props is when you play, you're not going head-to-head with a shark. You're not going head-to-head with anyone. It's you against the projections. You simply pick the right projection, and you can win up to 10 extra entry if you hit them all. So, if entry is $100, you can 10x that. I'm not a math major, but I'm pretty sure that's $1,000. I don't know. When's the last time you've won money playing DFS?
Not a math
$1,000. So not too bad. Not too bad. You can find Prize Picks in the App Store, and of course, use code FLING. They will match your deposit up to 100%. Next is our Walk of Shame. Eric, I'm sure you have a lot of words to say. Maybe it hurts too much, just a few words, but I will let you lead this off.
Oh, I'll keep it short. I could go long. I'll keep it short. My birthday was this weekend. We had some friends come by. Had a friend fall on the rocks, ate it pretty hard. Had my friend and a cousin playing cornhole. They both tripped over the cornhole board on the same round.
I left with no injuries, so that was a start.
Doesn't remember anything after 8 o'clock from the rest of the night. So
I've been refreshed after the stuff I did after 8 o'clock. I've been told what I've done.
It was a good night.
Did your girlfriend remind you, Paul?
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
She drove home, so her memory was just fine.
Oh yeah.
Telling me every single thing I did that night.
I found girlfriends are really they're good at a lot of things, but they're really good about reminding you of the dumb shit that you've done.
Just how stupid you act with your friends.
Yeah. And you definitely act dumb. You need adult supervision. So glad your girlfriend is there to supervise.
Let's be real though. Most of the times where I need supervision, it's me partying with you and absolutely nobody there. Because somebody's lawn or hotel lobby is getting slept on.
This is true. Just don't go too far. Don't incriminate us on this podcast.
Yep.
Moving on.
Yeah, to round it out, to finish it out, the biggest walk of shame that I have for the whole week is we talked about how well the Dolphins defense scored. They scored 15 points, or I think it's 15, depending on the format you're in. Yeah, 15 points. Yeah. So the Dolphins defense outscored my whole entire team. Outscored Ben Roethlisberger. Outscored Devontae Adams. Outscored Tyreek Hill. Outscored Jonathan Taylor. Outscored Stephon Diggs. Outscored everyone on my whole team. It's pretty pathetic. That's my walk of shame. My defense was my highest scoring, and it was only 15 points.
Yeah. How about you, Paul?
My walk of shame? I guess my walk of shame plays would be Smith-Schuster and Mike Evans coming together for 3.1 points.
Absolutely.
Still got to win somehow, but I did it with Henry. 42 points from him, just absolutely carrying that team last week.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually think about that, take away the players' names on the name tags in Pittsburgh, and you just watch them on film without knowing who they are. Juju doesn't look great, honestly. Yeah. I mean, Deontay's not even playing, and he's not getting much. I think, Chase or Deontay's 1 or 2, maybe by Washington, maybe Juju's 4. I don't know. He doesn't look very good though.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about last episode about Juju coming back last week and having a big game, kind of coming back out of his slump, and he's still in it.
Some doesn't look right there. I don't know. He's got Big Ben back. He just doesn't. He'll have his weeks, I'm sure, here and there, but he's not the Juju of 1,400 yards and 8 touchdowns or whatever it was.
Yep, needs to get off Fortnite.
Yeah,
I mean, as the taco, I did pick him up because he's a gamer. So
Yeah.
Come on, Juju.
Well, speaking of walk of shames, I wanted to bring something up because, we got news today that Antonio Brown, after his week 8 suspension, he's going to be reinstated, and, the Seahawks are looking at him. He has multiple suitors. Paul, I remember last year you took, was it a second round pick you spent on Antonio Brown?
To be honest with you, if that might be correct, I don't remember. As the condition I usually show up to our drafts. There's a reason you guys call me Taco.
How many games did he play last year?
Him and,
that's what I want to know.
Your Flash Gordon. I believe he played one game where he caught a touchdown pass from Brady and then decided to.
I thought he caught 2 touchdowns.
Actually, it's called a bunch of people. 2 games?
I thought he got 2 touchdowns. I think in that one game.
I thought it was like 45 yards and a touchdown. I don't know. Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think that was probably before he said
your lowest bench spot right now is a pretty good play, and I wish I didn't, and Cully beat me to it because that's honestly not a bad situation.
I could still see that Antonio Brown just pulls at your heartstrings. Like, I can see it. You just in love with that guy. You're smitten.
Hey, man. Last bench seat. What if he goes into a team that actually, maybe not the Seahawks where they have a lot of weapons. So we're splitting between 3 guys. Mm-hmm. But what if he gets picked up by the Texans?
Yeah, I could see. I would agree. Fantasy purposes, I think Seattle's a bad fit.
Absolutely.
I actually think a good fit that's been mentioned is the Ravens. They don't really have a ton of weapons outside of Andrews and Marquise Brown, who's kind of a speed guy. So I can actually see him fitting a lot better with Baltimore, for example.
But I could see him on the
you get to play the Steelers, and there might be some hard feelings there.
I could see him on the Seahawks, not as far as fantasy, but as far as having those 3 guys out.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're sitting here like with DK Metcalf right now, like, please don't let this happen.
I'm not worried. DK is a beast. And Antonio Brown hasn't played in 2 years. I don't see him dethroning DK Metcalf.
I'm not saying dethroning, but he has in the offseason practiced with Russ and Geno Smith.
Yeah, I don't know. Brandon and I briefly spoke about this earlier, and my thoughts are he's an alpha. He's an alpha receiver, and if he goes to a team like Seattle, he's not going to be alpha. He can talk all he wants to DK Metcalf to put him in his place. So he's got to go to a team like you said. The Ravens is a great fit. There's no alpha on that team like Mark Andrews, but he's a tight end. So I think he goes to a team where I don't think he'll go to a team where he doesn't have a chance to win a Super Bowl like the Jets or something like that. But he's got to go to a team where there is no other alpha because otherwise it won't work. His ego's too big.
Yeah, for sure. Well, moving along, I will finish this up with my walk of shame. I had last week on the podcast, I had a little bit of hesitation about playing Derrick Henry. Sometimes it's the play that you don't make. And I feel like that was probably my biggest blunder this week. That's my walk of shame. I was worried about the really quick turnaround. He had an epic game, and I just kicked myself in the ass all day. Just so pissed about it. I also had a good lineup, won some money, and quite a few contests on DraftKings. I scored like 180-something points. Not enough to win, top money, but good enough to win consistent money. But I also had a 52-point lineup. 52, not 152, 52. And the reason being is this lineup, I just went for really low ownership with some guys that would potentially be in some positive game scripts. Number 1, Jonathan Taylor. He got me 15 points. I really did expect him to get a lot more than that, though. Thielen, he was the number 1 wide receiver play. For, you look at any ranking system, he was top 5. Most people had him as their number 1. It's just Cousins. He just didn't play well, and Thielen, he definitely didn't get enough points. Jefferson was a beneficiary for any of the points, but it definitely didn't go through Thielen. We talked about it. What happened to Juju? It was one of those things where it's like, maybe he's due for some positive regression. Maybe Ben wants to get him more involved. I got 2 points out of him. Marvin Jones, look, if you're playing Marvin Jones, it's not because of what you're seeing every week. It's, this guy has had 3 touchdown games in the past, and it's a positive game script. And in GPP, you're just throwing a dart.
He's always on the field. He's still always on the field. He plays like 85, 90% of snaps every game still.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a good game for him. But, Galladay, DeAndre Swift, they got most of the production there. Ebron, kind of the same thing. I knew the Steelers would score a lot of points. Trying to get Ebron a touchdown or 2, it didn't happen. Miles Boykin, the reason I played him is he's kind of like a similar profile to Claypool. So I thought, if Claypool went off in the following week or the prior week, that it was Miles Boykin's turn to go off with the matchup. Didn't happen. Titans D, Jesus, -2. We'll stop it right there. I did survey some people on Twitter about their walk of shame. One of the ones that I got that I felt was really good and fitting, at Carrie B. Saint on Twitter, Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Tanya. Going into last week, you played that lineup, you're probably feeling really good about it. I think they had a combined 24 points in PPR. You can see Adams getting 24 points. You can see him getting more than that. Same with
Let's
Rodgers.
just not see him getting 24 points this week because I need him to go ahead and have another repeat performance.
Yeah, they'll
Not going to happen. He's going to go off this week.
No, he's not.
So, anyways, enough walk of shame. It's depressing. Let's talk about some positivity.
Let's round it out. Let's finish it up
for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Week 7, hot place. There are a lot of high-scoring games on this slate. Definitely going to be looking to stack some of these games. Probably you definitely want to do multi-entry with, just targeting 1, 2, 3 of these slates. But first off, we have Seattle and Arizona. That's expected to be 56.5 points. We also have Green Bay and Houston at 56. Atlanta and Detroit at 56.5. Tennessee and Pittsburgh at 52.5, and New Orleans and Carolina at 51. Those are the big ones.
Boom.
Eric, you want to start us out?
Yeah, man. We'll start with the most important position in real life, but not so much always in fantasy. Quarterback. I have 3 guys I really like: Stafford, Bridgewater, Breeze. I like Stafford. He there were 3 touchdowns like in the 5-yard line last week from the 5-yard line, and there were a lot of he kind of had bad luck. He could have had a huge game, but they were running touchdowns. But he's in a game where it could be really high scoring against Atlanta. I like him. Bridgewater is only 5,800. He's playing the Saints. I really like him because of his price, and Saints defense isn't super great. And then Breeze, same game. It's gonna be high scoring. I think I like them both. I like all 3 of those guys. What about Paul? You want to throw out a quarterback? We like this week.
Starting Breeze, like you said, this week.
All right.
Over
Double
Cam.
up on Breeze. Cam?
Michael Thomas is back. He's got chemistry with Sanders now.
Yeah.
They're in the dome. They are going against the Panthers defense, but it is a home game in the dome, and Breeze loves to light it up in the dome.
Panthers defense isn't very good.
Yeah. Buddy. Give me throwing those slants to Michael Thomas.
What about you, Brandon? Who you got for quarterbacks?
He ass bitch and cry all he wants, but if he goes out there and like his Madden rating of 99, he plays like that, then he can do all his bitching off the field. Let us play talk on the field.
Hells to the yeah. I'm with you on that, Eric. I'm trying to stack these main slates that are really expected to go off. I like you. I like where you're at with Stafford. I mean, since the beginning of the year, it's been play wide receivers against Atlanta. So if you're going to play wide receivers against Atlanta, you're probably going to look at the quarterback too. Stafford at 6,500. That's probably the best value you're going to find besides maybe Kyle Allen at 5,200. I do like him. Watson's been hot, and he's also in the other high-scoring game, So I do like him. It's I believe it's 6,800. And then you got Seattle and Arizona. Wilson, if you want to pay up for Wilson, I don't know, 8,000. It's a little steep for me, but I do like Kyler in that game. With his running, he's looked really good. So at 7,100, I also feel like he's some good value. I wouldn't shy away from playing Josh Allen this week either, just because I think they're in a really good matchup. I mean, they're going against the Jets. So
how does Gase have a job, by the way? Just saying.
Anyway. Yeah, with his rushing ability, right? Well, we'll get into that. But with Josh Allen's rushing ability, I mean, and the fact that they lost their past 2 games to really good teams, I think they're ready to just lay it on the Jets. So he can really go off. It's funny, actually. I had a conversation on Twitter with this guy. It's like, at this point, why would you fire Gase? You're cruising to Trevor Lawrence. Like, why would you fire him?
I don't think Trevor Lawrence wants any part of him.
Yeah.
I
mean,
getting warned by pros, be like, no, don't do it, man. Get away from Gase.
I mean, if you're straight up admitting to the tank, at that point you have to admit that your team is tanking. There's no way of walking around that. Your fans are going to kill you. Like, whose hard drive does the guy have in his pocket that's got his job secure?
Well, that's the sad thing. Jets fans – we might need to put them on suicide watch, because if they lose all these games and then Trevor Lawrence is like, nah, not playing for that team.
Yeah. I mean, as far as fans suicide watch, at least Jets fans are going in there every week knowing it's going to be a shit show of a game.
At least they have a chance with Darnold. I mean,
what you need to watch right now is Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
That is just embarrassing.
Yeah, let's we want Zeke off our team. We're the best player on our team. Come on now.
No, two fumbles.
Everyone has a bad stretcher game.
Done deal.
No offense. But let's
I do think there's a scenario where, because they have Darnold, you have the options. They can definitely trade him to a team. It's that still believes in Darnold, because I mean, dude, he's the guy's still crazy talented. He just has to be on a better franchise. I mean, the Jets are just not it.
100%. I think honestly, I don't want to make this super long, but if you look at, he coached Tannehill as well. Gase did. I mean, Gase is riding the coattails of Manning for forever. But
absolutely.
He honestly is not good. Like, he just sinks players. Look what happened to Tannehill. For 8 years in Miami, couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out how to use him. All of a sudden, he goes to Tennessee, and they figure out, they unlock the code for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some quarterbacks, I don't think Darnold is bad. I think somebody else would probably be a good for him, like some sort of other coach who could, scheme him differently. You got to work to the talent, the strengths of your quarterbacks, and that's what they did for Tannehill. That's why they do the play action. They found out what worked for him. They continued doing it, and I think the same thing could happen for Darnold. I think he's I think he's better than he shows, to be honest with you.
It's like the Manziel thing with the Browns. You get stuck on that team, and it is just a career black hole until you get off. Le'Veon Bell, he wanted to chase the bag, got to get his paper. Went to the Jets, got his money. Now he's like, was money really worth it? I'm out.
That's a black hole there. You don't want to be part of that. Not what Gase is there, I should say. But anyway, we should move on to running back, since you rounded out quarterback. Brandon, you want to start up on RB?
Yeah. Running backs, I mean, I'm not really trying to overthink it this week. You got some really good matchups that, you just kind of go with, just plug Kamara in. I mean, Kamara, I know he's $7,900, but you talk about play running backs against Carolina, you have Kamara. I mean, he's the best. If you don't think he's the best, he's at least top 3. You got to play him. So also, Houston has turned into a really bad team defensively. I don't know if you watched the games. But specifically, they have the worst run D in the league currently as it stands. Aaron Jones is coming off a bad week. I feel like it's a prime week for him to just go off at 7,200. I really like him. Also like James Robinson, it's just a little less salary than some of those other guys. because I mean, if you do like some of these wide receivers, it's really going to be hard to squeeze them in. So he's in at 6,200. Whether it's, I don't think CMC is coming back this week, but if he does, play him. Also, Mike Davis, would be another good opportunity based on one of the more high scoring slates on there. I also like Philip Lindsay. He ran really hard last week. He's provide some salary relief at 5,300. Also McKinnon. We got no Raheem Mostert. I still like McKinnon. Kyle Shanahan likes McKinnon. I don't think they're going to get too cute. They're going to feed McKinnon the ball. So at 5,800, I like him as well.
Nice. Yeah, you always want somebody in that Shanahan offense, the running back rather. I mean,
yeah,
they always seem to do really well.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, do you have anybody for RB you want to throw in there? Or do you think he's going to play well?
I mean, Swift going up against the Falcons, I think is going to do a good job. Did a great job last week.
All right, Swift. You know what's going to be an interesting play this week is you have Derrick Henry who's been destroying everybody, and then you have the Steelers who give up like 2.2 yards per carry. They're the best RB in the league, or maybe the Bucks are, but they're both neck and neck. It's curious how it's going to work out because they have an incredible run D. It's an interesting matchup to watch.
Yeah, I'm off him this week, but I mean, totally screwed the pooch last week by being off him. So I mean, so who am I to give advice on playing Henry?
I have nothing bad to say about the guy. The guy is literally doing work for me week by week. The 1 week I've lost this entire season.
So let's see. So I have some, I guess I won't say contrarian plays, but I have some plays. I did like Davis at 6,600. I think as long as McCaffrey's out, Davis has been playing really well. I mean, they showed McCaffrey's price would have been 8,300 if he played this week. That's what they estimated at. So, and Davis is 6,600. So if he plays, 3/4 as good, then he covers that. So not bad at all. The other one that I like this week, who was not on the main slate, or he's on the main slate rather, but not on the highest score totals, is Kareem Hunt. He had a bad week last week, but the guy is a stud, man. He's playing the Bengals. He's only 6,800. I think he's underrated this week. I think he's going to crush it. And then I don't know if it's contrarian play. He's played their whole run offense has played horrible, but I'm liking Singletary against the Jets at only 5,800. It's probably going to be probably going to mop the floor with them, and it may be a Zach Moss game at the end running it out, but I think they're both going to Singletary at 5,800. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. If you get up a lot, they're going to run the ball.
Yeah, I think they'll get up a lot easily and quickly.
I mean, it's the Jets, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You in the NFL, it's always like, it's the NFL, anything can happen. But if Flacco's the quarterback, I'm not sure anything can happen. I don't believe it. So.
I mean, this isn't 2012, that's for sure, because I saw anything can happen in person. The Ravens versus Broncos of the playoffs, but that was 2012. It was 8 years. We've come a long way, and Flacco has not played well in the past few years.
He doesn't look anything like he used to. Shit. Since I finished out, rounded out running back, I'll start receiver. I'm going back to the well again with AJ Brown. I think the guy's forgotten about and underrated. He was 56 last week, 63 this week. The Pittsburgh may be amazing against the run, but they're not great against the pass, and maybe that's by default because they're so good against the run. But I think people forget how good AJ Brown is. He was hurt for the first 5 games or whatever, so they forgot. The guy's a stud though. And
he's turned my team around. I was 1-3. I'm 3-3 since he came back.
He's a beast, man.
Because of his play.
One of the a play that I really like that's cheap is Mike Williams. He's only 4,700. As long as he plays with Herbert willing to just toss the ball and throw him downfield, then I like that play a lot. And the last one I like is kind of expensive, but the Packers got embarrassed on against the the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They destroyed them. I like Adams coming back. I like the whole Green Bay team coming back and just throwing it out there, like just not letting off the gas pedal. So Adams is 7,900, but I like him this week. I think he's going to destroy it. Because he had a bad game. He had an interception, bounced right off his hands into another guy. He dropped another ball. It was just not a good game for the whole team. It was bad.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, this is a week where there's so many good options, and a lot of them are expensive. It's just like, just roll with several options in different lineups.
Yep.
If
you want to go expensive, if you like the plays with Kamara and Jones where they're super expensive, you could do someone cheaper like Mike Williams, who's been at 4,700.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. If I just look at the high scoring games on the slate, because this week they're really high. It seems like more than normal. I'm just trying to double stack, triple stack. You look at the Atlanta-Detroit game. Again, start wide receivers against Atlanta. Galladay is definitely a must start there. And again, Jones, I'm not playing him in cash, but I'm playing him in GPP. I will play him again. I'll probably go broke playing him, but maybe I'll fucking hit the 200,000 or a million. I don't know. But this week, as long as the matchup's right, at 4,400, I'm definitely playing him in GPP again. So, and I'm bringing it back with Julio or Ridley in that matchup. Again, the Green Bay-Houston game, I'm with you on that. Play Devontae Adams. On Houston side, play Will Fuller, play Cooks. Definitely on both of those guys. Seattle and Arizona, it's funny when teams go on a bye, there's like their recency bias even with just them being on a bye. So a lot of people forget about Metcalf and Lockett. Liking both of those guys, also DeAndre Hopkins, because Seattle's secondary is not very good. So when you go to the Arizona side, you bring it back with like DeAndre Hopkins, maybe do Lockett and Hopkins, and that matchup, that'd be another good one. Also, Pittsburgh and Tennessee, I'm with you. I'm off Henry, so you got to be in on A.J. Brown. Jonnu Smith might not play. Corey Davis might be back this week, but still definitely going in on A.J. Brown. And then on the Pittsburgh side, can Claypool do it again? I don't know. Deontay Johnson is practicing as of today on Wednesday, so he might be a guy to play.
He's really good. He's kind of burned people twice, but I think people forget when he played, he had like a 30% target share in both games that he finished. He's really good.
Yeah. But ownership's probably going to be down, so it might be the week to play him.
He's going to be way down.
I got burned by him twice, and it's funny. Once you get burned by someone multiple times, you're like, I will never play him again. And then they'll go off, and then you'll play him. But once they go off, and then you play him, it's too late. You got to hit it.
Yeah.
You got to get it right.
Yep.
So, those are the main guys that I'm interested this week.
Nice. What about you, Paul? Who you got, Paul? Who you like for receiver?
I was going to just touch on the Steelers game a little bit, I guess.
Two guys.
I guess I was going to touch a little bit on the Steelers game. I mean, you got to think how teams are scheming against them now. Juju's not looking like the wide receiver one. So are they going to start focusing more on Claypool? Are they going to take pressure off Juju? Anyways, I did pick up Mike Williams with the Chargers. That is he had a huge game last week. That was after the Keenan Allen touchdown and Keenan Allen going out with back spasms. So you are still sharing the ball. I mean, also with Henry in, you're still throwing it around there. So, I mean, his success last week was really dependent. I don't want to say dependent on the Keenan Allen going out, but it's a factor, right? We can't really overlook that. Just going to throw it out there. Tim Patrick with the Broncos.
That's a good one. He's definitely taken over the Courtland Sutton role in the offense. And Locke likes his big targets. He likes taking chances and throwing it up to a big target, and Tim Patrick has come through.
He is looking really good.
You mentioned that. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna transition on to tight ends. We talk about Tim Patrick. We talk about big targets. Fant practiced today. He's expected to play. Expected to come back. Mentioned this last week, but he didn't make it into the lineup because he wasn't quite ready yet. Through 2 weeks, he was a top 3 tight end. I don't have the stats in front of me, but he may have even been the top tight end. Then he got hurt. Locke got hurt. Everyone's forgot about him. He's only $4,800 on DraftKings this week. I really like him at his price. Also in that same game, Travis Kelce. the Broncos, they just struggle with elite tight ends. They always have. They probably always will as long as I'm alive, I feel like, as a fan watching it. Kelsey, 6,300. You can go back and look at the stats. He lights up the Broncos. So it might be the week to actually pay up for a tight end. It's not crazy. The dude won the millionaire contest on DraftKings, a couple weeks ago with Kelsey. So it might be the week to do it again. 6,300. I also like Hawkinson. He is in that high-scoring game. Hawkinson's really good. He's just not getting enough opportunities. But $5,000, I would roll the dice on him this week. Again, with Green Bay bouncing back potentially after, just getting clowned last week by the Bucs. You look at that slate, 56 points, Tonyan, $4,600. I'll roll with that. And then also Hunter Henry at $4,500. I like him. How about you, Eric? Who you got?
HH. I like Hunter Henry, and to go back on Paul's point about Mike Williams, I don't think they've had a quarterback like Herbert. I mean, Rivers has been bad for years. Tyrod Taylor's not great. Like Herbert, I don't know. I think they're both gonna have good seasons. Just to throw that in there. Keenan and Mike Williams. Anyway, for tight ends, I kind of narrow it down. I keep it kind of short. I agree with Hawkinson, who was on my list for the price.
Yeah.
He's made his way into the role. He showed last year he was good. He made a couple bad choices with doing some weird trying to hurdle people and got jacked up, but you look past the injuries, he's been pretty productive. And then the other one I have is Darren Fells. If Akins is out again, especially if he's out, play Darren Fells again. They have the Green Bay game. It's supposed to be a 56.5 point game. He put up like 20 points last week. If Akins is out, definitely throw in Darren Fells at only 4,100. I like that play a lot.
Yeah. Agreed.
Keep it short. Defenses. Same thing with defenses. I don't pick a whole lot. I pick the ones I like. Number one, I think, has to be the Bills. They're playing the Jets.
Yeah.
The Dolphins destroyed the Jets defense or the offense, and so the Bills are at 4,700. They're expensive.
Yeah,
but
if you can fit them in.
Yeah, man, if you can fit them in, they may be worthwhile. And I've also played. This may come as, I don't know if it's a contrarian play or not, but the Cowboys defense, cheap, 3,000. They're playing Washington. Kyle Allen's not a good quarterback. Their defense isn't great, but Kyle Allen's not good either. I feel like they could put enough pressure to make it hard on him. It's a kind of a cheap play, but it's defenses you never know. But anytime people are playing against the Giants or the Redskins or the Jets, I got it again. The Washington football team.
They're waiting. You're just waiting.
The Washington football team. I apologize. Or the Giants or the Jets. My apologies on the name. Play a defense against those teams.
We'll get through it. To be honest with you, I'm more upset I wasn't the guy who literally trademarked every single possibility they could just so he can sell it back to the team.
And by the way, Paul, your Tim Patrick play on receivers, I really like that, man. I'm kind of circling back around. But at this point, if things keep going the way they are, I'm not sure if I'd rather have him or Judy. I mean, the dynasty, no question, Judy. But if Tim Patrick's been playing really good, he may outplay Judy for the rest of the year. We'll see.
But you know what? It's funny that you say that because I'm with you on that, specifically if you're trying to plug in some of these cheaper guys.
Yeah.
Like if you're starting a Kamara and like an Aaron Jones and you're looking for like value at wide receiver. But maybe this will be the week that Judy goes off because, I mean, he's got speed and, he's a really good route runner. And I don't know. Playing either of those guys might not be that bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
We'll
just
see.
to let you guys know, over the last couple of days, I got on Amazon, ordered a bunch of glue. I'm sending that to all of the receivers' hands because watching last week was rough. I dropped passes.
Yeah.
Got a big package of Gorilla Glue. It's coming, Broncos. I got you guys.
Yeah.
We're securing stuff in the end zone this week.
It was bad, but they get Fant back this week, and they do get Melvin Gordon back. The forecast is supposed to be snow, so I don't know. It might not be the. Is that whiskey, Paul?
That is straight whiskey, sir.
Yeah, good. Might not be the best forecast for throwing. So.
I do the Ocho Cinco thing. I make okay money. I still act cheap.
Yeah.
I will always be cheap. It gets the job done. So that's.
Well, we drink whiskey on the show, and we appreciate y'all for listening. We are actually now on most of the podcast outlets. We are on iTunes, we are on Spotify, and we are on Stitcher. So I don't know if you know us, but we're kind of a big deal. So subscribe.
Send me money to keep
review
me
us
on the show.
Yeah. Don't say anything foul, but we really appreciate it. You can also, of course, find us on Twitter at FantasyFling, at FantasyFootballFling.com, and on Instagram at FantasyFootballFling.
Yep.
So,
speaking of which, that new logo is looking great. I've told you I'm a night mode user on Twitter. Black and black. That logo is looking sleek. It's smooth. It's eye-catching. I'm loving it.
I appreciate that. And now that you've become a regular on this show, we might have to put your face into the podcast logo.
Little taco in the background.
Yeah,
could be on the football that's in between the girls' legs.
Yeah,
that'll be your face.
Yeah.
I don't think. Sorry, never mind. Sorry, never mind. Sorry,
oh,
sorry,
man.
Alex.
We were worried about me keeping this family friendly. We just went. This episode, NA17.
It's not exactly the most attractive look, but we'll fit you in there some way.
You know what? I have a suggestion before we round this bad boy out. I'm gonna start. I think I'm gonna suggest like 3 players from each position, except for maybe like defense or tight end, because those positions suck. I'm gonna start keeping tabs on where I was. So a lot of the plays I play are like the cash game. So you're looking for 2x, right? So if I say go for Stafford and he's 6,500, if he hits 13, he hit 2x, 13,000 that is. I'm going to start keeping tabs. A little Excel sheet. We'll upload that to Twitter. But I think we should all do that starting this week or the next. So see how we do. With our picks. I think we've done pretty well so far.
I've made some money. I haven't made a lot. I mainly crushed it on. I've been doing really well, knock on wood, on my picks, like the pick'ems. With the spread or the over, the under, the money line with parlays, it's helped. But DFS has been a different beast this year.
I think that's a good idea. I think in the future we should include over and unders. I think some of the games we talked about, I definitely would take the over in quite a few of those.
Yeah.
The Vegas games, the main slates.
Absolutely.
But
we can do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's incorporate that because we're doing prop bets and everything. So let's throw that in there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's wrap it up. That's it for week 7, and we'll see y'all next week. We got league dues due next week.
Taco at number 1.
and the last year's champion
2020. Crazy.
Number 12.
Hey, what's going on with God of War? Is he still got his head on?
Man, he lost an arm. He lost an arm already, yeah. He lost an arm.
Just wanted to check on him because he got threatened.
I'm not out yet.
So.
And I'm 1-5. I'm not done yet, but I need. If I lose this week, I'm pretty much done.
I wanted to check on it. It was a health and welfare check. I just wanted to make sure Kratos is doing good.
There may be next time we talk next Wednesday. There may be a big trade that happened in the interim. A trade because I am going to trade something or someone. I need a running back this week. I need a running back, a top running back. Do I need like a top running back?
We do have a whore in our league who's kind of just holding all of them.
I don't know who that could be, but seriously, we need to make trades. So I can't hold all these backs
next week.
And I'm stubborn as shit. I will lose with all these backs on my bench before I'll give them to any of you bastards.
It's okay. It'll come. It's good. My time is coming. I know it is. Well, anyway, gentlemen, appreciate you coming on. As always. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Having me again as the host.
Yeah, buddy. We'll see y'all next week.
Later.
Late.